Hey polish fans, it's Caroline again and welcome to another video here at Baldwin Lacquer. In today's video we have a bit of a different perspective because I am showing you what happened to my fall seasonal rack. So this right here, as you can see, is one very large tote of nail polish. This has quite a lot of my dark purples, my berry shades like this one here, some blue blurples, and a lot of the fall tones besides my oranges, which are mostly all right here. That's the only part of my nail polish rack that I got even partially organized. This was also some of my purples that I wanted to try to wear this season. That is some of my purples, blurples, berries, and then even some dark greens over here on this side. As you can see, it is still very disorganized and chaotic. And I also have been in the midst of, if you've watched some of my recent haul videos, getting more polishes that could easily be added to my fall seasonal rack. So at the time of my filming, this is now December 4th, we are already very close to switching it up to winter. So I thought we would do something a bit different, sort of like my behind the scenes video, and pull some polishes from at least my top picks that I have yet to wear, because I've only worn, I think, one or two from that first my fall seasonal rack video, which is abysmal. So I want to at least pull some from this selection and get those on my transitional fall to winter rack, and then maybe even start pulling some from the bigger bins like this that can still work for winter and hopefully be better organized for this upcoming winter season. I also have two winter videos that will be coming up, at least two different collaborations. One of the collaborations will be our usual seasonal rack, and then we're also doing a neutrals seasonal rack as well. So I want to get that all set up and ready to go. As you can see, we have a lot to go through. So, and Willow's all set to be talkative again, but let's go ahead and resituate you and get started. So here are all the polishes that were on my must-haves, my top picks for fall of this year. And like I said, I didn't get around to wearing, I think, more than one or maybe two from these. To be honest, they ended up getting buried underneath other boxes as I was unboxing things. So yeah, totally failed my favorite season of the year. Unfortunately, we will have to come at it better organized next year. Oh my gosh. But like I said, I want to be able to wear some of these still. These were, if you missed that video, some of my top picks in my collection for the fall season that I really wanted to get on my nails. So I already have sort of organized these by which ones I want to keep on my transitioning rack from fall to winter. And that is essentially this top row. So we are cutting these ones down below. If you want the names of all of these, I'll post a little video of my fall rack up there. But we are keeping this top row and cutting these bottom ones. I could keep quite a few of these for that transition into winter from fall, this one especially, but I cannot possibly keep all of these on the rack, and this one especially I think will work nicely for my neutrals video. All right, so then up to my fall rack that got partially organized. If you watched my first behind the scenes video, first or second, I'm actually not sure. I don't remember how many of those I actually posted at this point. But we did sort of go over some of my toppers and some of my oranges, like the terracotta to pumpkin-y shades, reds, marsalas. We have some really beautiful intricate colors here that are like a really deep berry with a red glow, but with a view to the transitional season that I'm aiming for now that we are past the fall foliage outside, which is the inspiration for these pumpkin-y shades and fall tones. I think I'm going to be foregoing quite a few of those and sticking to maybe some of the shades like possibly this that have some hollow that might still work for very late fall into early winter. And I know some of these shades like the burgundies can definitely work. So I'm going to go ahead and pick some of those out, and then I'll go over each one with you as far as which ones I am keeping. All right, so this is what I've pulled from that fall seasonal rack that was somewhat organized, and these are what I've decided to keep. The rest is basically getting the axe for this season. And now we need to compare these, make sure that I haven't pulled any that are too similar to each other, because like I said, this is only going to last for this month. Some of these colors, like the deep berries, might be able to push through into like January, but a lot of these colors are a bit still fall leaning. So I want to limit myself about how many like fall oranges I keep on my fall to winter transitional rack, which is not something I've ever done before. So I'm totally playing this by ear. The first two I want to just sort of look at are these two, Rogue Lacquer's Unbelievable and Color Club's Sidewalk Psychic. These were two holos that I was excited to wear for my fall rack, but I do think that they're fairly similar to each other for this concept. I'm pretty sure if I were to swatch them out, you'd get a lot more complexity in Unbelievable. There's some particles in there that are not present in Sidewalk Psychic. I'm not sure if they're going to come across, but you can see a bit of like a red scattering of like a micro flaky. But I like the deeper tone. So I think of the two, we're going to keep Rogue's Unbelievable and add that to my transitioning fall rack, fall to winter. I had pulled this one. This is Pretty Beautiful Unlimited September 2022 polish. I Smell Children. I thought I might be able to transition this to the winter rack, but I am sort of second guessing myself. I think I want to stick to softer colors and not so much colors that look like crushed fall leaves. I love those for the fall, and I haven't actually gotten to wear them, but that's getting the axe. Okay. One of the toppers that I did pull is China Glaze Golden Enchantment. This was a Dollar Tree find, and it is a really pretty golden hollow topper. This one should work nicely over a lot of different colors. I am still not 100% sure if I will end up wearing this over many colors. It should work beautifully, but my regulars will know that I'm not that drawn to yellow. And even though, yellow or gold I should say, but even though it is really sparse on the wand and probably in application, I think what has been stopping me from wearing it is the fact that it is so blatantly gold in the bottle. So I need to just sort of see if I can wear this over a couple colors to at least give it a try. So I'd like to keep this in my rack. We have some Bee's Knees lacquer. All of these are very, very unique. Will they work for fall to winter? This one is Dragon Heartstring. This is an older polish. This is also an untried in my collection. It's really unique with that green flash, which is why I had it for fall. But that same green glow does shift to like aqua and purple. So I think it might work nicely for the winter season as well. So I want that on my rack as well. Can I compare these to anything else? Probably not. Probably not. Like I said, they're both very unique. NYX is a magnetic, a very dark purple with a bronze to copper magnetic pull. I think that should work nicely for winter, so we're going to stick to that. The next one is Bee's Knees Lacquer Lathe, and this one is another really unique polish. You've got a shimmer component and a reflective component. This is really pretty and unique, and I do think that this should work nicely for the late fall season or winter season. This is one that I'm sort of hemming and hawing about. It is Beyond the Nail. It is their Lunenburg Oops. This one was the one that was supposed to be more on the purple side, but there was an issue with, I think it was like one of the micro glitters that bled into the rest of the base, making it seem a lot more of a burnt orange than it was supposed to, obviously. It is gorgeous and sparkly, but I think I would be more likely to wear this in actual fall season when we have fall leaves on the trees, and we don't anymore. Okay, let's see, our burgundies to reds and berries. These are different tones, thankfully. These three of these are the most comparable, even though they are not dupes. The first one I want to keep on my rack is Bluebird Lacquer's Centaur of Attention. This one is a cult classic. You have a beautiful deep red holographic staying on the rack. I think that's beautiful for winter. Pretty Beautiful Unlimited's Oxblood, also really nice for winter. This is a new addition, as is this one down here, both from Mooncat. The left cream is from the Ashes. The right holographic is Pretty Poisonous. Both of these I think would work nicely for fall, but also for winter. These berry tones definitely work great for the winter season, and this tone of a deep like berry purple in holographic also works nicely for winter. So we're keeping both of those on the rack. This is another one that I was contemplating. It is Nailed. It's Hail to the King. It does have fall tones, but it also has blues and purples. I think I will leave this on the chopping board though. We still have a lot more to go through my collection and pull stuff specifically for winter. So I can't keep everything. Simply can't. Okay, the next two deep berries are I Love Nail Polish Dear Santa and Lemming Lacquer's Pennywise the Dancing Clown. I wanted to keep Dear Santa. This one was beautiful when I swatched it, and I definitely want to try to get that on my nails. And Lemming Lacquer's Pennywise the Dancing Clown is a really beautiful polish, and it would fit nicely, but like I said, it's just, I don't know, this kind of polish is not what I'm feeling for winter thus far. So I want to stick to the polishes that are really speaking to me from my fall rack, that I can sort of transition, like I've been saying probably ad nauseum at this point, from fall to winter. And I think this type of polish for me is more of a fall shade. On that note, I'm probably leaving behind this one as well. Turtle Tootsie's Chili. Again, gorgeous color. I don't know. Now I'm second guessing my second guessing, because this does have some gold and it's got some hollow in sort of a deep cranberry base. Maybe we will hold on to that. Okay, then this one I do want to hold on to. This is inspired by the Gingerbread Man. It is from Chaotic Glitz, called Prepare to Face the Butcher Baker. So this is a really nice brown with some red flash, and it's got holographic. So this to me feels like it could be a color that easily transitions to winter. All right, so now to get rid of all of the colors left on the chopping board, move these over and onto our purples. So before we get to our purples, I did want to go over this box that had some polishes that again never made it to my main polish rack. These were polishes that I had pulled from boxes and from new incoming polishes, like these polishes from the brand Polish, in case you can't read that, that I never got around to wearing because they were stuck in that box that was sort of pending putting on my rack. So let's go ahead and go through these and see what colors can transition nicely into winter. And a lot of these I know came from mystery bags, so I don't think that they ever actually made it into my nail polish app either. All right, so since you've probably seen most of these, I'm not going to bore you with the names all over again, but I will share the names of the ones that I plan on keeping. All right, so these are the ones that I think will work nicely for a seasonal rack that is transitioning from fall to winter, and a few of these are to my neutrals rack, so let's start there. The first one is Fancy Gloss's Nude Beach. This is, I think, the most amped up of a lot of the nude colors that I was thinking of pulling. This one, I'm not sure if it'll stick around for my neutrals rack. Like I said, it is a little bit exciting for a neutral with all of those pops from the iridescent flakies, but we'll keep that for the time being. The next one is much more of a neutral, but still with an exciting twist. This one is Polish's Winged Cupid. This one is an interesting shade of like a very pale pink, like nude leaning pink. And it also has hollow and some micro flakies. I don't know if any of that's coming across, but it's a nice soft shade. The next one is also, I think, one of the more exciting shades, but I do think it would work nicely for winter. It's Serendipity's Girl Power, and it's basically like a holographic rose gold, really, really pretty. Another one that I think will work nicely is from A. England. This one is Briar Rose. This is another beautiful holographic, this time in a very deep red. There's also some shift to like orange at the edge. Then a few from one of my mystery boxes. This one is from the brand El Corazon, and this one is called, I forget where the names are, there we go. This one is called Volcanic Haze, and this is a really interesting sort of a smoky purple, which I think will work nicely for winter. And you've also got some flakies in there. Another one from El Corazon, this one is called Eastern Organza. This is a really interesting deep red leaning eggplant. Yeah, like a red leaning eggplant. And it's also full of glass fleck shimmer particles in like a beautiful green to gold. So again, that I think should work very nicely for both seasons. Another one from A. England, this is called St. George. This one I think would work beautifully for winter. It is like this evergreen holographic. Such a beautiful color. I have not been a green lover most of the time. My green polishes lean towards the mint family, but I do really like these kind of sort of blue leaning deep greens, and I think this one will be perfect for the season. Another one is from Zombie Claw. This one is called Frostbitten, and this is a really unusual shade of a dusty purple. This one has a very unique mix of holographic, like a linear holographic, and then some matte glitters. Another one that I think might work nicely for winter is Girly Bits Abracapocus. And this is, again, a very unique mix. There is some like purple, orange, and green, I think. But we'll see how it ends up swatching and see if it sticks on my rack. But for the time being, it is a nice, sparkly, beautiful addition to the rack. Like I said, I haven't really been feeling the flakies, but I do like the glitters for winter. So we'll see how that ends up being. The next one is from Polish. This one is Saint Glinda. Another kind of fun neutral, or a neutral with some fun to it. You've got holographic shimmer and flakies in this one. Next up is another from Polish. This one is called Abracadabra, and this is an interesting gray with green to purple shifting shimmer. So far I don't have anything like it on my winter rack, so I think this one could be pretty nice. We'll see if I end up adding it to my long-term rack for the winter season. The next one is from Different Dimension called Lacerda, and this one is a beautiful purple holographic. I think holographics are perfect for every season. I have loved some for spring. I of course love some for summer because you get the best sunshine that time of year, but I've also liked them for my fall and winter racks. Next up is one from Polished for Days. I think I just got done saying I was not feeling the flakies, but this one, I don't know, the color seems right. It's a really deep berry tone with flakies. We'll have to see if it lasts once I start doing some cutting, because right now we're just in the beginning phases of pulling this rack, but I do really like it for the winter season, these dark berry shades. So we'll see how long Eve lasts on my rack. The next one is from KB Shimmer. This one is called Such a Vlad. We're just gonna not say the last part of that. This is a beautiful berry toned cream. Again, perfect for the season, and I'm already running out in my little rows of these colors. Oh my goodness. All right, now to tackle that mess over there of my purples, berry shades, and other toppers. I think we're gonna just do this by group, because the way that my camera setup is if I angle you towards that direction so that I have both hands, you'll get this big bar in front of your line of sight. So we're just going to pull some colors at random over there. I have stacked them way too much over there, and we'll just see what we end up with. All right, I think this is a good first grouping. And I do have a couple that we can at least group together for some mini comps. The first one is a Bee's Knees lacquer called Curse You. This one has a base of purple, if I'm remembering correctly. Yeah, like a berry leaning purple. Now this one I could see working nicely for winter, but for some reason I'm just not feeling it. This sort of a mysterious shift in the shimmer is speaking more fall to me. So I think I want to hold on to this one for maybe next season, or do I want to just put it on the rack? I do really like my purples in general. Regular viewers will know that I am a purple fan all the way. So I do want to add this to the rack, at least to see how it compares to some of my other purples. I'm a little iffy on if I want this type of shimmer for my new rack, but we'll see how that one goes. I did end up putting 2 of these polishes, at least that I've pulled so far. I don't see the other one tucked away. These were the polishes that I got in September's polish pickup. One's Sassy Sauce Glampire, the other's Watches Scarlet Power, and these both have a kind of a similar concept. You've got a squishy purple base loaded with a very bright red to green shifting shimmer. They are different though. They have a slightly different finish on the nail because of the particle sizes, and also Glampire has the addition of flaky, so I did end up putting both, if not all 3, on my fall rack because that's how I roll. I really like these colors, what can I say? In fact, I still have these swatches here. This one is the Sassy Sauce Glampire, and this one I believe is the Owacha. I think the other one was KB Shimmers It Scares Me. So that one actually might be on my rack somewhere else, or I may have talked myself out of adding all 3 and just going completely hog wild, but those are the differences. That's Sassy Sauce. This one is Watcha. I think for the winter season, I'm actually going to stick to Watcha. So we will stick Sassy Sauce back in the collection and save it for next fall. And Watches Scarlet Power will go on to the rack. So continuing on with our boatload of purples. Hope you guys like purples. These other ones, let's see, I sort of had kind of organized these a teensy bit by similar vibes-ish. These 2 are purple holographics, Wildflower Lacquer's Invincible and Ethereal's Moon Jelly. I think of the 2, Wildflower's Invincible feels more like a winter polish, so I think I will go ahead and add that one to the rack. Then these 2 I kind of felt fell into a similar vibe, Wildflower Lacquer's Potion and Moon Cat's Anti-Fragile. I do already have a purple holographic, 2 now actually, now that I've added the one from Wildflower, but the one from Wildflower and the one from Different Dimension are 2 different shades. This one deeper tone to the one from Different Dimension. So I guess for the time being, I will go ahead and put it on that rack, and I can come back and do some comparisons of it later, see which one I want to keep on the rack. So I'll make sure that they get put side by side so that I can compare those later. And I do want to keep Wildflower Lacquer's Potion on the winter rack. I do like the holographic flakies, and a lot of these colors I feel are nice and moody for winter. Alright, so I thought that these ones were kind of close, but now I'm seeing that they are very different tonally. I do, however, have a couple of reflective polishes. I don't think I need a billion of those on my winter rack. I do want a couple, but I don't need every single one. So we've got Not Everybody Does from Bee's Knees Lacquer, Pretty Beautiful Unlimited's Upala or Upala, Heather's Hues Southern Lights. Now obviously these are all very different shades. We have 2 purples and one sort of a dusty blue, and I think the dusty blue is feeling more wintry to me, so we're going to put that one on the rack. These 2 I think I will go ahead and cut from my rack. They're beautiful, but like I said, I can't have all of these on my rack. That's what got me into this mess in the first place. All right, the rest of these we're just going to go ahead and go through, and I'm going to pull the ones that I think I want to keep for the rack. All right, so the ones that I want to keep are up here. Again, this isn't final tallies by any means, but I think that something like this could look really nice for late fall and for winter. This is Wildflower Lacquer's Mudita. I liked it so much, I think I ended up with 2. It's gorgeous. It is absolutely stunning. Loaded with flakies. There's a lot of colors. I know I just said not that long ago that I wasn't feeling the flaky balm polishes, but again, my rules tend to ebb and flow depending on the polish, and a topper I think would work nicely on top of some other colors as an accent, and then you can maintain the non-flakiness over some other colors, or add this as somewhat of like a frosted tip look. And again, it's very frosty and nice for winter. The next one is another Bee's Knees, Loyal Unto Death. This one is similar to a lion with a thorn in its paw, and I loved that polish. I think this one is a beautiful icy blue shade for winter, and I don't think I have anything yet in this shade. We've got another Bee's Knees, Our Love Spans Across Stars and Worlds. This is another one of my favorite polishes from this brand. This entire collection, in fact, is a favorite. There were a few that I skipped out on, but all in all, the ones that I got, 10 out of 10. Absolutely 10 out of 10, 12 out of 10, 15 out of 10, whatever you want to do. It is amazing. The combination of these was just mind-boggling. The shifts in the multi-chrome was astounding, and the addition of the reflective component in one half was really beautiful. Sticking with a blue sort of shade, this one is from Illyrian called BF1. I know, again with the flakies, like I said, my rules sort of ebb and flow. This one is a beautiful, sort of a dusty tone of a cornflower leaning towards denim. You have flakies and holographic. I think it'll look nice for the season. One from Lights Lacquer. This is one of the darker shades called Protozoa. I really wanted this when it came out. I think she came out with like a trio of galaxy themed purple polishes, and as a purple fan I was thrilled about that, but I didn't end up getting the trio. I did end up grabbing 2 of them at some point, and this one seems like it might be a nice one for winter. It is kind of like a black based polish with all of that glitter goodness and shimmer and hollow. So we'll see if that ends up sticking on the rack, but so far I really like it for the season. Another Bee's Knees lacquer. This one is It Is My Punishment. Came out in the What We Do in the Shadows 3 collection. This is another Lion with a Thorn in Its Paw sibling polishes, and I think that this really rich color with this gorgeous red flash will look beautiful. Next up, we've got one from Femme Fatale. This one is Sneezy. I believe this is a thermal, but this is a nice dusty tone of like a muted berry shade, and I think that'll look nice for the season. We have another Femme Fatale called Red-Eyed Scavengers. This one is a glitter packed polish with all the sparkles, and I think this kind of polish for winter is stunning. Next up is one from BCB. This one is Reader Beware. This one's sort of a dusty purple, again loaded with a glow and holographic. That shimmer also shifts really beautifully. Again, tonally and glow-wise, I think this will work nicely for a transition from fall to winter. Next up is one from Ethereal. This one needs a really good shake, but this one is called Zenobia, and this is a really nice dusty blue, again with a load of shimmer in it. That nice red pop that you're seeing on camera, I'm actually seeing it shift to green and gold, so I think that'll look really nice. And then lastly from that first batch is one from Bee's Knees Lacquer. This one is Little Spill, and this is one of the dustier shades. And I love these sort of tones. I've actually been a fan of dusty shades for quite some time. In fact, early on in my channel, that's what I mainly talked about, was these dusty tones. And I don't wear them as often now because they have sort of branched out. My tastes have evolved, and I now like a lot more polishes than I did when I started. But I think this one will look beautiful for winter. Alright, so I found some more of my dusty tones from that purple rack that we're going over. Now, I'm not going to keep all of those, but definitely some of these will make the jump to my transitioning seasonal rack. And a lot of these deeper tones of purples, I don't know how many will make the cut because I already have a ton of purples on this new rack. And that's always my biggest color selection of polishes in my collection. So I need to whittle these down. So let's go ahead and see which ones I want to keep. Alright, so I said I wasn't going to keep all the dusty ones, and I did keep quite a few of them, but I did cut some. So one of the ones that I want to keep is a beautiful cream from Ren. This is called Sweet Dreams, and this is a lovely shade right up my alley as far as a dusty purple goes, and I think it'll look nice in winter. The next one is a much darker tone from P2. This one is called Cookie Crumbler, and this one I also think will look really nice in winter. Next up is another from Ren, this time in their holographic formula. This one is called Happy Thoughts. This is another one that I think will look absolutely perfect for winter. And the next one is from Wildflower Lacquer, You Had Me at Hydrangea. This is one that I definitely wanted to get on my nails. It is still an untried. I think it'll look very nice for winter. And the last one in that sort of a lighter dusty purple shade is from Bee's Knees Lacquer, Dead Doesn't Mean Gone. This is also a UP polish. So this one is also a shade that I think will look nice in winter. I might have to come back and cut these dustier shades if I continue to add to them in this rack, but so far this is only about the 5th one, so I think we're still doing okay. Next, we're getting more into the berry shades. This is from RXLA. This one is called Dragon Blood. And again, I love these kinds of colors for fall, but I also love them for winter. This one has a beautiful holographic formula. Next up is one from China Glaze. This is called Perfect Plum. And again, plums are really nice for both seasons. So I want to add this to that transitioning rack. Next up is another China Glaze. This is You're a Mean One. This is a fairly new addition to my collection. I got quite a few of these polishes from the Grinch collection in a mystery box a while back, and I think that this one will make a beautiful polish for winter. And the last one from that little section is a Dance Legend. This one is called, this one might not have a name, number 637. This one is kind of hard to describe because it is in a frosted bottle, but it is a deep purple that has a beautiful green shifting shimmer. This one I'm really excited to see swatched because there's also some berry shifts that I see depending on the lighting. All right, so we've got another batch of purples to blurples and even some periwinkly shades. Let's see how many of these I want to keep. Again, we'll start by grouping them with like colors. Alright, so these are all kind of in the same color family. This was one that I had wanted to try. I got it in one of my mystery bags. This is Sally Hansen's Erasmic Berry. So for this collection so far, I have been disappointed by the one that I have worn. It's the blue called Bedazzled Blue, and it didn't end up having this metallic flaky look on. It just ended up looking like a metallic polish. No texture that I thought would come across, like it sort of shows on the cap, really came through. So I'm actually sort of wondering if I think I would wear this. It is a pretty shade for winter though, so maybe we will hold on to it for the time being and give it a try. I think its reprieve is that I do really like this color for winter, and it is seemingly a rather unique shade of purple. Then we've got Orly's Flight of Fancy. Somewhat similar-ish, definitely not dupes, but similar to Wildflower Lacquer's I'm Stupid. Wildflower Lacquer's, obviously as an indie, is going to have a lot more pizzazz. They are completely different finishes as well, but they do have a very similar main color. Even that's not the exact color, but it's similar enough that I don't think I really need both of these now that I'm switching from a fall rack to a fall to winter rack. And of the two, I actually think I want to keep the Orly on my rack. The Wildflower is a little bit brighter, so I want to save that for another time. This next one is Wildflower Lacquer's Indo 2.0. This one is a gorgeous color. Trying to see if I have anything like it on my rack so far, and I don't think I do, so I want to add this one to the rack. We are once again quickly running out of space for the purples. My goodness. Okay. Next we've got a femme fatale. This one is everybody knows. We're just going to leave it at that. This one is an absolutely gorgeous polish, and there's a lot going on. This one I do see being one that I would wear around the winter season, so I think I will go ahead and keep this one on the rack. The next one is Nail Artisan Cosmetics Panthers on the Prowl. This one to me is more of a fall polish, mainly because of those fall toned flakies. The polish base itself could easily be a winter color, but because of those flakies, we're going to set that one aside, save it for next year. The next one is Blush Lacquer's The Secret Door. This one actually turns out a bit different than I thought it would on the nail, but it's really pretty in the bottle. I do think, however, that I might have a couple of Bee's Knees lacquer that are kind of similar tonally, and actually based on what I think I'm seeing as mainly that red flash in like a purple jelly base, it might actually be fairly similar to Dear Santa from ILNP, so I don't think I need both on my winter rack, so we'll set that one aside. Next one's Garden Path Lacquer's Snow Can Wait, and what color is this one? This one is a purple jelly, and this one is loaded with flakies, but I am already very saturated in purples, and like I said earlier, I think I'm trying to be kind of picky about the kind of polishes that I pick for my rack. And for winter, I think I'm aiming mainly for more of like a twinkle effect and less for the flaky effect, even though I do have some flaky polishes up there. So we're going to set that one aside. And I think the same thing for this one. This is Swamp Gloss's Malama. I think we will keep this for a different time. All right, we're going to go ahead and pick out some other colors. These ones are going to be harder to describe. They are all sort of rainbows in a bottle. What, Willa? Yes, I hear you, boo-boo. Alright, and not surprisingly, a lot of these are my Bee's Knees lacquer. I've got one from Ethereal, which is Ours is the Magic. Willa. What? You're being very chatty again. Yes, you are. So again, this has a lot of those iridescent flakies in a beautiful multi-chrome base, and I'm just not feeling this for winter, so we're going to set that aside. The next one is Bee's Knees Lacquer Demeter. This one is a magnetic, and it does have a sort of a blurply jelly base with a magnetic line in a very bright green that has some shifts in it. While I do think that this could make a good winter polish, I do already have a magnetic from Bee's Knees. Again, not a dupe by any means. These are not even close, but they are both magnetics, and I think of the two, I think NYX is more of a polish that I would pull for winter. All right, let's pull the larger particled multi-chromes. We've got 3 of them. This is Amazing Opportunities for New Possibilities, Red Tide, and Do You Think I'm Pretty, all from Bee's Knees lacquer. And actually this is also a large particled multi-chrome, which is Fine, Make Me Your Villain. Those are the 2 closest of the bunch. Again, definitely not dupes. But let's go ahead and go over these 2. Do You Think I'm Pretty is more of like a blue with a green flash. There's a lot of shifting shimmer. In fact, I think on camera you're mainly seeing that as gold, but I just don't feel that this is a very icy wintry shade, so we're going to set that one aside. The next one is Bee's Knees Lacquer Amazing Opportunities. This one I actually could see as a winter polish. It's a really beautiful multi-chrome, and I want at least a few of them on my winter rack because they are something that I could see myself reaching for. So we're going to go ahead and add that one. The next 2 is Red Tide and Fine, Make Me Your Villain. Again, not dupes. I think Red Tide is actually like a teal green base. Yeah, like a teal base with that red shifting shimmer that goes to a bunch of different colors. And then Fine, Make Me Your Villain is more of a purple jelly base. Again, loaded with a bunch of colors in that shifting shimmer. I do feel like I have a bunch of these that I gathered for my fall rack. I'm trying to see if I have some that I put in there already. I did have Curse You, which is a bit more noticeable as a true purple, although that one does have that greeny gold flash, which is why I put a few of these out. Okay, so I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna put Find Make Mirror Villain on the rack, and we are actually gonna trade places with the Curse You. So Curse You is going on the sidelines and Find Make Mirror Villain is going on the rack. So on to Red Tide. I don't see this as very much of a winter polish, so we're gonna set that one aside as well. And then on to Madness or Cheese. This one I do see as being a pretty nice winter polish, kind of in the same vein as Loyal Unto Death or A Lion with a Thorn in Its Paw. Madness or Cheese has a different shift in it, but they both have this really interesting sheen to that shimmer that I think both will work for fall to winter rack. So we're definitely keeping Loyal Unto Death, and I think I want to add Madness or Cheese to my blues. Okay, and then two reflective polishes from Bee's Knees. We have Hello Bryce Quinlan and St. Elmo's. And let's see, Hello Bryce Quinlan has really neat like green reflective glitters in like a sheer base. This was part of that collection that I really liked of larger particled multi-chrome shimmer. In the polishes, half of the collection had a contrasting reflective component in there, and the other half was just those large particled multi-chromes. And this one is really beautiful. I'm trying to decide if it would be something that I could see fitting in with winter, and I think I want to try it. That one's really, really pretty. St. Elmo's I think is more of like a blackened base with a, yeah, like a blackened base with more of like a purple to red to green to gold shifting multichrome, and then gold reflective glitter. These kind of polishes I really have to be in the mood for. So for my seasonal racks, I do tend to have specific colors in mind. I do try to include a few here and there that I want as sort of like palette cleanser sometimes, or an unusual color, but I just don't know that I would reach for this one for winter. The next one is Cupcake Polishes Gullfoss, and this one is really, really pretty. I think it is a purple, as a lot of these have been. Again, loaded with shifting shimmer, and this one has iridescent glitter. Again, I'm kind of being odd about some of the finish choices that I'm making for my winter rack, but I'm just not too sure about this one for winter, so I think we're going to set that one aside and do some more of the purples. We've got some deeper tones, some unusual colors, and the rest of these I think are sort of blue-ish. Except for that one. That one's purple. That's purple for sure. And let's go ahead and pull a couple more. And those are blue. Okay, so these should be the last of my purple polishes that I have up here. The first one is OPI's Leonardo's Model Color. This one does speak to me as a winter polish, so I want this one on my rack. Figuring out where to put it is getting harder and harder though. Sweet and Sour Lacquer's Glow Up. This one is really, really pretty. I'm just overrun with purple polishes on my winter rack right now, so I think we're going to set that one aside. The next is Linby Designs Polyjuice, and I do think I want to add this to my winter rack. This is a really unusual color. My bottle needs a really good shake, but you have this really unusual base that's sort of this odd mix between purple, pink, and blue. You have a holographic component. I think there's like a gold holographic, maybe micro glitter, and I'm not even sure what else in here, but here's how it looks half over a black swatch and half over the bare nail. Very unusual and beautiful, so we're going to add that one to my rack. Fairly certain that Willa thinks I'm talking to her. Silly goober. Next one is Orly's Foul Play. This one I really wanted to wear for fall, but again, a lot of my polishes ended up getting buried, so we're going to set this one aside and maybe try it again next fall. Next one is OPI's Lincoln Park After Dark. This one I could totally see as being a polish I would reach for the winter season, so we're going to keep that one up here. Again, my rack is already absolutely chock full of purples. Purples and berries. Next up is a holo from Ren. This one is called Intoxicated, and this is another one that I definitely see on my winter rack. This is a very, very deep holographic in a rich purple, And just to compare it to the purple that I already had up there that was also holographic, I mean, very big difference. The one from Different Dimensions, which is Lacerda, is much brighter by comparison. So I think this one is a really nice option. And then lastly, we have Restored by Polish, Iceum Eucesium. And this one I definitely want on my winter rack. I think this one would be beautiful in that season. It's twinkly, it's purple, it's gorgeous. So we're going to have that one on my rack. All right, and that moves us into some blues. We do have a few here that are sort of in the same color range. Let's go ahead and go over these three. This is one of my favorite sort of color families, which I don't know if it's going to translate perfectly onto camera, but this is Linby Designs TARDIS of My Eye, Sinful Colors Rebel Rebel, and Sinful Colors Blues Cruise. These are all various shades of like a periwinkle, very peri sort of a color. I don't think I need all three of them on my winter rack, even though again they aren't exactly dupes. But I think I want to try to wear Linby Designs, so I'm going to add that to the rack. And I think I'll go ahead and add the lighter Sinful Colors, which is Blues Cruise, because I could see that work nicely for the winter as well. The next one is Finger Paints Hues Blues. This is another one that sort of falls into that very peri color category of the year for 2022. And I definitely see this working nicely for a winter polish, so we're going to keep that as well. Again, my rack back there is basically full. Just going to shuffle things over a pinch. Put those over there. Next up, let's see some kind of close colors. I think these two and maybe this one. Again, not dupes whatsoever. I think the closest two are both from Potion Polish. If I'm right, yeah, Potion Polish. So we have Autumn Drive and Across Time. And then the third one is Naps and Nails and Never Trust a DM. Again, not dupes, but they are sort of similar-ish. This one, there's just not really anything else that I've pulled, but does this strike me as a winter polish? I think the shimmer and multichrome shift in it is speaking more fall to me, so we're going to set that one aside. These two, I don't think I need both of them for a winter rack, and right now Across Time is definitely speaking to me, whereas Autumn Drive, because it has that warmer glow, is speaking more fall to me. So Autumn Drive's going off the rack and Across Time is going on my winter rack. Okay, on to a few more. None of these, again, are specifically dupes or even similar to each other. I think of the two, these are sort of kind of similar vibes of tones of color. We've got Static Lacquer's Serenity and Cleona Cosmetics Hitchhiking Ghosts and Nail Hoots All Your Space Are Belong to Us. And Static Lacquer's Serenity to me is very much a fall polish because of those fall toned multichrome flakies. So we're going to set that one aside. The Cleona Cosmetics, however, I can definitely see as a winter polish. So we're going to add that one. Nail Hoots All Your Space Are Belong to Us. I can definitely see that as a fall to winter polish. So we're going to add that one as well. These two, okay, first and foremost, Emily Damali's Blessed with a Curse going on my winter rack. Does that not speak snow to you? It definitely speaks snow to me. That is beautiful. Next is Nailed It's Moonbeam. This is another flaky polish, and you know I love Nailed It's flaky formulas, but was this the one that I was saying was like really a nice icy winter blue? I don't remember. I know I swatched one of them that was, and I am struggling to remember what it was called. I think it actually came out more recently than this one did, so I think we are going to set this one aside and keep it for another time. Although, no, it's going to get a reprieve. I am going to put it on my winter rack for the time being, and then maybe sort of reevaluate the blue flaky polishes that I kept and whittle that down as I go. The next one is Music City Beauty, I Put a Spell on You. This one is a very unusual magnetic polish. Very, very cool, but the electric green is speaking more fall to me than it is winter, so I think we're going to set that one aside. The next one is Bee's Knees Lacquer, I Just Wanted a Sister. Now this one I do want to keep. Again, I want to try to have some multi-chromes. Where did the other one go? The other one was Amazing Opportunities, and these two are actually kind of similar to each other, but again, with multi-chromes, just because they have similar shifts doesn't mean they're the same pigmentation, and these two are actually different, kind of similar color shifts on some of the faces, but the base of Amazing Opportunities is more of like a deeper purple, whereas I Just Wanted a Sister has that brighter blue. They both have that sort of fuchsia flash. So the question is, do I need both of them on the same rack? Oh boy, oh boy. I think because I Just Wanted a Sister has that bluer tone to it, I think we're going to actually do another switcheroo and take out Amazing Opportunities for New Possibilities from the winter rack, set that one aside, and add I Just Wanted a Sister to the winter rack. I might regret that one, but I cannot have 400 polishes on my rack. We've seen how much of a failure that is. Let's compare these two I Love Nail polishes. This is Utopia and Deja Vu. And these, I'm pretty sure, were two that I had thought were fairly similar when I unboxed them. I think they both came from the same mystery box, and they are pretty similar, although they are a different finish and formula, so both are holographic. This one, which is Utopia, has some like micro flakies in it, and I want to say it also has shimmer. Tonally though, they both are sort of this icy purple. I think Utopia leans ever so slightly towards pink by comparison, but they are very, very similar. So I think I will keep Deja Vu on my winter rack and put aside Utopia for the time being. All right. Lastly, in our blues are these four. This one's actually a gray. That is Kiss Pitapat. And this one I do think is a good one for winter. It is that sort of a slate gray. I'm not feeling it though. I know, I was very excited about these for my fall shades when I discovered them at the Dollar Tree, but I have yet to wear that one. Maybe someday. Next is Nailed It Venomous. And this is another really beautiful multi-chrome with some other particles in it. And this one is really pretty, but I just am not feeling it for a winter polish. Not that it wouldn't fit nicely into a winter rack, but again, I'm very, very saturated on my purples, so in order to do another switcheroo, it really has to speak to me. Next two, we have Night Owl Lacquer's Dark Fantasy and Lynn B Designs Better Than Unicorns and Sparkles Combined. The Night Owl Lacquer is definitely one that I could see being a beautiful polish for fall or winter, but it does have those red, I think like red to black multi-chrome flakies in there, which this strong of a red component in this base, I don't know, is leaning more fall to me. So I think we're going to set that one aside. This one, however, I want to get on my nails. I love the name and it's just a very fun polish. This is somewhat of a difficult color to describe. It is kind of like a dark blue that has just a pinch of purple. And look at all the glitter in there. Really, really pretty. This one I am just noticing does have red glitter in it. But as you can see on the nail, it doesn't exactly scream red on the nail. So I want to put that one in the rack. All right, the next color category that I have over there is some greens. And a couple of oddball hangers on in other color categories that were sort of merging into the greens. Oh, and there we go. There's It Scares Me. I figured I had it here on the rack. I just couldn't find it. So KB Shimmers It Scares Me was one of those ones that I compared to the other two that I think I kept only one on my rack. I believe this one is It Scares Me. This one was Glampire, I believe, by Sassy Sauce, and this is Watch's Scarlet Power. Again, they are different, just a very similar vibe as far as a descriptor of a squishy purple base with a very strong red component. So for that reason, I do think I'm sticking with my initial call of keeping Watcha. I mean, again, this one does have a red flash, but I don't know, I think that one works really nicely as a deeper base with that purple, and I really, really like it. KB Shimmers could work nicely too. but they all could. So we're gonna go ahead and stick with my original choice and put KB Shimmer aside. Let's get the one oddball out. This one was left over from the middle category between my purples, blues, and my greens. This one is an ILNP called Echo, and this one is a pewter color loaded with holographic and metallic flakies. It's going to be very, very metallic on the nail. It might be a nice, like, mid-range, maybe a January shade. I don't know, we might hold on to it, but honestly, I'm not that excited about it for winter for some reason. I mean, I think I'm still hanging on to my deeper shades of like purples and berries. I know I need a little bit more neutral. I mean, this is not really neutral though. It's a metallic and it's hollow. I'm just not feeling it for right now. So I think we're going to set that one aside as well. All right, one last blue, I guess one last hangers on. This is Linby Designs. So delightful. This is a thermal, and I think you might see this one coming. I think I'm going to not have this on my rack. It is loaded with flakies that are very fall tone to me. So for that reason, I'm going to stick that to the side. All right, now getting into our greens. Now, some of these are going to be very complicated polishes because while the main color, the main base might be green, there is a lot of different colors going on as far as flakies and reflective polishes and glitter and all of that. I think I only have one cream, and that is this one from 77 Nail Lacquer. This was one of the many mystery 77s that I got, but this is like a perfect green for winter. It is a lovely evergreen shade and it is a beautiful color, so that one's going in the rack. Next up, let's do some more of those true, like, evergreen, foresty green shades. That's a little bit teal, but we'll go with it. We've got Bee's Knees Lacquer Always Free, Sinful Colors, Empire Green, Femme Fatale, A Kraken Snackin' on Fishin' Ships, and Sally Hansen's Metallic Seaweed. So I definitely want to try the Sinful Colors. That's in a velvet matte finish, and I do really like the color that this one was. I remember when I got this one in the mystery box and I swatched it, I really liked the color. At least that's what I'm remembering. Hopefully I'm right. Next up is the Bee's Knees Always Free. I think I want to add this one too. This one does have that very strong red flash, but I am a sucker for this finish from Bee's Knees, so I want to add that to my fall rack. The next one is the Crayola one, Seaweed. This is that finish that I just wasn't that impressed with from Sally Hansen because of what I was expecting it to be. And actually, on the brush, it's more of like a teal. So I don't think this would fit in with what I'm feeling for the season. So I think I will set that one aside. In fact, I might swatch that at some point and see if I even want to keep it. The next one is also sort of teal leaning in the green base. This is the Femme Fatale one, A Kraken Snackin' on Fish and Ships. This one is a micro glitter party in a bottle. You've got some other components adding some color and some shimmer. Again, kind of trying to decide if I think that this one would be one that I would reach for over the other greens that I've chosen. Because at this point I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 greens, 5 dark greens on my rack, which is kind of a lot for me. So do I need another one? I think I want to save this for fall next year because, yeah, we're just going to go with it. I think we're going to save that one. Let's go for some of our swampy-ish greens that I was really excited about for fall. This is also sort of a swampy green. We've got China Glaze's Aggro, Sassy Sauce Wet Spot, Bee's Knees Persephone's, and Vanessa Molina Let's Boogie Up. The one from China Glaze speaks more fall to me, but I really like this color. I believe this was one that I had found at Dollar Tree. It's a gorgeous color, but again, I think it speaks more fall to me. The one from Sassy Sauce, I just don't know that this one speaks winter to me. The Vanessa Molina is probably a magnetic. They often are. Yeah, and this one also has that bright green in the base, which is a bit more of a fall thing to me. And Bee's Knees Persephone, also a magnetic and a green base. More of a fall thing for me, so I think we're going to put that one aside as well. Let's go ahead and look at the last 3 darker greens. We've got Pretty Beautiful Unlimited's Doorbuster number 6, ILNP's Sweater Weather, and Pretty Beautiful Unlimited's Poor Unfortunate Souls. The Poor Unfortunate Souls to me could be a winter polish, but again, I do already have some green polishes in a very similar vibe as far as the base color goes, so I don't think that I necessarily need another one. The next one is a very dark shade, and in fact, I think this one might be a magnetic, so let's give it a really good shake and see if that was correct. Yes. Okay, now this one does have flakies in that base, but for some reason, I'm kind of liking how this might look on the nails for winter, so I think we will add that one. And then the last one is ILNP's Sweater Weather. Now this one is actually kind of hard to describe. I thought it was initially a dark green, but I think it's a dark blue. Yep, it's a dark blue. Alright, so how am I on my blues thus far? I don't think I have anything quite like this on my winter rack yet, so I think this one will get a reprieve and will go on the rack. Almost done with this first part. If you guys have stuck around this long, a very big thank you. Hopefully this has been enjoyable. We have a flaky polish from Illyrian. This is Mesmerism. Again, with these flaky polishes, for whatever reason, I'm not really feeling them for winter, just as a general rule of thumb, even though, as you can see, I did put some in there. I think we will set that one aside for a later date. We've got Ethereal's F, and this one I think definitely speaks more fall to me than it does winter. Yeah, I think we're going to set that one aside. Then we have a couple reflective polishes. We've got All Mixed Up Lacquers, El Quezal, and Bees Knees Lacquers, Wheel Walker. Do either of them speak winter? I think this one does. This one has a really unusual base and a lot of different shifts and twinkles. I like that one a lot. It's very unique. And while this one is very, very pretty, I just don't know that this one really speaks winter to me, so we're going to set that one aside. And then lastly, we have two flaky polishes. We've got Nailed It's Hangry Mode and Wildflower Lacquer's Window of Time. Both of these speak very much fall to me, so those are both getting the X. All right, well, that is what we are left with. We cut quite a lot. We, if you remember at the beginning, had two completely full racks. This one was mostly full, and that one was positively overflowing with polishes. So this is what I've whittled down to continue on with my late fall into winter. And of course, this is going to change as I continue to pull polishes, but I thought you guys might like to know whatever happened to the rest of my fall rack videos. And then I thought I'd take you along the journey of pulling for my next two seasonal racks. We're going to have neutrals and then my winter racks. So hopefully you enjoyed. If you are new, make sure to hit the little subscribe button down below. That way you don't miss out on any of my new videos, and click the little like button. That would be very, very helpful. As always, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it, and I will see you on that next one.